All right, hey, how's it going? We're going to do a video really quickly on slope and y-intercept. I know this is a tough concept, but if you're going to be successful in Star and Algebra 1, this is something that you need to be able to do. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with slope. So first, we need to know the notations that they give us when we're talking about equations with slope. We know the slope is known as m, okay? We know that the y-intercept is known as b. There is a formula called the slope-intercept form, um, slope-intercept form, which is known as y equals mx plus b, which basically says that my output is equal to the rate of change applied to my input plus my starting point. That's what the equation says. But back to slope. So we know that there are four types of slope. There's a wonderful video on YouTube called Slope Dude. You should check it out. But we have a positive slope going, and these all go from left to right, so this is positive. Then we have a negative slope, which goes downhill from left to right. We have a zero slope. Okay, it's not perfectly flat, but it has zero. It goes across zero, so there's no rise. The whole thing about slope is the steepness of a line, and I'll write that in a little bit. But the last type of slope is what we would call an undefined slope. I'm going to write undefined for you so you can see what that is. Okay. So those are our four types of slopes. So I'll write the four types right here so you can have that. So the four types of slope are here. And then back into what is slope. Slope itself is the steepness of a line. Okay, and you can watch this in any order if you need to. Pause, fast forward, rewind. But slope is the steepness of a line. Okay, it's also known as rise over run. So I'm going to put AKA as an also known as. Okay, rise over run. Okay, it's also known as the constant of proportionality, or K. Okay. It's also known as delta y over delta x, which basically says the change in y over the change in x. And then there's a formula for this. So the slope formula, if I have room, there we go. The slope formula is known as y2 minus y1, which also just says basically the change in y over x2 minus x1, which is the change in x. Okay, so there's the formula for slope. Okay, and then we'll do a couple of examples of how to find that later on. But for now, I'm going to give you four types of slope: positive, negative, zero, undefined. We know that slope is the steepness of a line, so the bigger the slope, the steeper the line, the smaller the slope, the lower the line. So we went into what slope is. We went to the formulas, the four types. I'm going to show you how to find it now. So we can find it from ordered pairs. So say they gave us, let's say, 0, comma 2, and then they give us 1, comma 5. Okay, if we label this, step 1, label your x's and y's. So we know that this is x1, this is y1, x2, y2. Okay, and then we're going to put those into the formula. Remember, our formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is rise over run. Okay, so if I put those in there, y2 is 5, so that's 5 minus my y1, which is 2, over x2, which is 1, minus 0. Okay, that tells me 5 minus 2 is 3, and 1 minus 0 is 1. Okay, the last step we need to do, step 3, simplify. Okay, so 3 over 1 reduces to just 3. Oops, I wrote 1. Okay, 3 over 1 equals 3. Okay, so if you follow these steps, you should be just fine with finding slope, which this slope is also known as the letter M. Okay, we can also use a table method to find slope, where we say, let's use the same values here. I'll make a process table where we have x on one side, y on the other, and we'll go 0, 2, and then 1, 5. And we'll find slope this way as well. So we need to see how much does it take for me to go from 2 to 5? Well, that's a plus 3. How much does it take for me to go from 0 to 1? That's a plus 1. Okay, so then we would find our rise and place that over our run and say, well, rise over run is equal to 3 over 1, or just 3. Okay, so both of these look different, but the process is the same. We still arrive at the same result. We just used a video to find our positive slope. Okay, on our next video, I'll show you how to find negative slopes and slopes with that are fractions and slopes that are 0 and undefined. But for now, let's do a little teaser. The y-intercept is the y value when x equals 2. So if you can find that in your table or your ordered pair, you'd be good to go. So if I looked at this table, I see when x is 2, or x is 0, y is 2. So this, and I'll draw arrow to it, would be our y-intercept, or b. Okay, same thing. I see 0 here, so my y value where x is 0 would be my y-intercept. Okay, so like I said, in the next video, we'll go over how to find slopes that are undefined, 0 slopes, and we'll also go into some y-intercept work. And then we'll do some practice with some word problems as well, and some graphs. So once again, like, follow, share, subscribe. Let me know what type of content you want to see or any type of work that you want me to go over to help you with, and I'll be glad to assist. Thank you. Until next time.